Blog Talk Radio.
Okay, people, we having a little technical difficulty, but we'll cruise right through it, y'all. You already know what to do, man. The caller number is 929-477-2759. You got the next 90 minutes or more locked and loaded with Sports City. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you are here with this stuff. I feel some type of way, y'all. And as I said, we're having a little technical difficulty because this vibe with us, please, trying to get this taken care of. They're giving us little hiccups early this morning. I got it. Don't worry. I got it. Okay, so unfortunately we're having a little technical difficulties. I'm trying to get in here as smooth as possible. It's your boy TP Tymeless at the helm, trying to hold it down for week 4 of the NFL. A lot of interesting things went down in the sport week. A little disappointed, if you will, to say the least, about what's going on in Florida, in Orlando at that. But I'm a sports fan. I'm going to love to get at it and talk about it as best as possible. As of today, we have Game 3 going on with the, now I got to say it the right way, the Los Angeles Lakers visiting the Miami Heat. So Miami Heat are the home team, even though they're playing in the bubble at the same gymnasium. They'll have the fan sounds on their side, and as much as the Miami people that they can have there as possible, but it's only Miami family and Los Angeles family. However, the reason why I'm disappointed is I think this is going to be a clean sweep for the Los Angeles Lakers. If the Heat steal a game, it's just by, like, God's grace or something. But there's no impact in these games that show me that they can do anything with the Lakers. And I had a discussion yesterday, and the discussion was the Lakers are going to win it, right? Who gets the MVP, LeBron or Anthony Davis? And I said Anthony Davis, and the discussion was LeBron is damn near having a triple-double game every night. He's averaging damn near triple-double. I'm like, well, majority of his assists are going to Anthony Davis because they don't have anybody to defend him, and he's able to step out and make shots, and he can control the ball as well. LeBron definitely is an impact and probably the piece that helped get them into that championship mindset, but I definitely think that this is more or less Anthony Davis's MVP trophy to win. But we'll see how this particularly breaks down as we, I think, more or less get closer to Game 3 or 4. Well, today is Game 3, like I'm discussing. But, I really think that this is a situation where whoever has a bad game and somebody else lifts them up. But they both have actually been very impactful on the play that's been out there on the floor. And neither at the power forward or center or the small forward position, the Heat can handle the Lakers at all. The Lakers have been cruising and winning by double digits. And I think that they could do more, but I think they more or less save face for what's going on within the game. And like I said, this is a bad situation for the Heat, and nobody expected the Heat to get this far into the playoffs, let alone the NBA Finals. But we'll see how that all breaks down when I want to see if they can put up a fight today. They can't have players like Tyler Herro go silent. That was impactful for them to get to this point, the playoff run. Or the final run, shall I say, and Duncan Robinson being their premier sharpshooter have no points and being, shut out. And basically a lot of the stuff that he does, he stays around the perimeter. And if the Lakers are able to get to the perimeter and shut off the shooting, that's everything for the Heat right now. And let alone they can't stop any big man type of play. So this is crucial if they can't get this job done as soon as possible. So we will see how this goes down. Game 3 takes place tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just feel real bad that this is what's going on in the NBA. I'm mad that we don't have fans because of the COVID situation. I'm mad that we wanted to see a team that could go out there and try to defend LeBron, defend Anthony Davis, i.e. Boston, maybe. I really can't say Milwaukee as much as I want to. Philadelphia was beaten up and injured, but a lot of the teams fell off the wagon. Miami was so hot to take care of the pieces that they had in the Eastern Conference because it's more or less guard dominated compared to the big man feature out there in the West, the Western Conference. And you look how loaded the Lakers are at the big man position, and they have a 7'3" guy that they could put in the game whenever they want to or choose to, or they could just sit him out and, let him watch and let Dwight Howard go in, who was once Defensive Player of the Year and led the league in rebounds, things like that. So that's helping the Lakers basically just bomb on this Heat team. So I don't know what Jimmy Butler can do. They had injuries to Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo, and these guys were some huge pieces to what was going on to this team, and Bam more or less solidified them winning the Eastern Conference on his play. So this is unfortunate that this is happening to the Heat right now. But like I said, I'm disappointed about everything that's going on right now in Orlando, and we'll see tonight. I'd be hard pressed to say if I can see the Heat winning this game tonight. I don't think this is built for them to get any game. I think, plus LeBron knows that system. Not to say he knows everything. Poster probably threw a couple of nicks and crannies, some things to switch things up. But man, I don't know what the Heat can do to stop these guys. And now more or less the bad part about it is Rondo's gotten confident. So Rondo's actually shooting the ball better too. So this is an uphill battle for the Heat. I'd be hard pressed to see them get one, but I damn sure don't see them getting 2 wins out of this. I don't think they'll get 2 out of this run here. Okay, so that's one. I'm going to get into the college football situation because there is a lot to talk about college football, especially what happened yesterday, and there's a lot to get into the Week 4 situation of the NFL also. So I am going to get into the college scores, and we had some interesting losses, man, in the top 25. At least top 25. I'm going to keep it there, top 25. I'm hoping that everything can get back to normal where everybody can get out there and play, and every conference, so we can really see what's going on. I more or less want to say ranking-wise, or seeing how teams are really ranked, because you got some teams that have only played 1 or 2 games and they're in the top 10 and getting the respect because of what they have within their roster or, university namesake, things of that nature. So I do want to respect them, but I do want to see everybody get out there and play. And as of this month of October, if everything stays clear, we'll get a lot more of the conferences to come out and play ball. 12, the Big Ten, just to name a few that we will get out there. And also the SEC just came into play just shortly too, so that's another thing to look at. But we're going to get into the top 25. Like I said, I'm having technical issues here, so just vibe with me, Sport City, because I'm trying to figure out what the hiccup is. Okay, so the first game we have took place on Friday night. BYU took care of business up against Louisiana Tech, 45-14. That's a blowout to me. I see that Zach Wilson put up 325 yards passing, and Tyler Algier led them with 93 yards rushing. BYU was unbeaten 3-0. Man, Louisiana Tech is 2-1. Let me give them respectfully. So that was their first loss on the season, so they both were undefeated at the time. Clemson takes care of business, 41-23. Interesting, I did not think that Virginia would put that type of point effort up, but they did do enough to keep Trevor Lawrence in the game. So Trevor Lawrence played the entirety of the game. He had 329 yards passing, 3 touchdowns thrown. Brandon Armstrong led the way for Virginia in receiving with 89 yards receiving. Now, this is the interesting thing. Etienne is on a scoring tear. He's been scoring every game for quite some time. He's on a streak. He actually had a good game receiving as well. He had 5 catches for 114 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. People, I'm breaking this down for a reason, and I'm nervous. But next week, October 10th, next Saturday, Clemson is the host to my Miami Hurricanes. And I am nervous about this game because I really feel like the Hurricanes got a shot to win this game. That's right, people. I'm talking it up. I'll probably be talking about it all week long, and I don't want to be disappointed, but it's tough to go in Death Valley and try to steal one, let alone, even though he's a Clemson Tiger, I love Trevor Lawrence's play at the quarterback position, and actually that I don't really want to call him an activist, but he's actually speaking out to a lot of the issues in America. So I salute him. That's for sure. Okay, so let me keep moving. I am watching them closely all week long. I want to see injuries, everything, or who's playing or what, because they're the best in the country right now. Number 2 ranked Alabama beat Texas A&M 52-24, in which Mac Jones threw for 435 yards, passing 4 touchdowns. This game was interesting early until Alabama must have got screamed at by Saban, and then it got way out of hand. It was 35-14 at half and clearly over, but they went back and forth. It was 14-14, and after it was 14-14, they scored 21 unanswered in the first half, and it went clearly over their heads at that. So Alabama's now 2-0 in the SEC. I can't wait to see them play some tougher teams, but Texas A&M is ranked, so I do have to give them credit there. Number 3 ranked Florida wins their matchup up against South Carolina 38-24, in which Kyle Trask is starting to make a headway for himself with 4 touchdowns thrown up against South Carolina, let me say it correctly. They're 2-0 in SEC play as they just opened this up last week. Georgia cruises into an interesting, I can call this a blowout or shutdown, if you will. 27-6. Georgia has held somebody ranked to this amount of points was clearly over 2 decades. So they've been this defense came to play in a state line battle, if you will, with Georgia and Alabama. But this is Auburn though. But still, for them to win 27-6, that's huge in a rivalry game. And Auburn lost one of their bigger players, for the targeting rule. And I feel bad about how college is looking at the targeting rule, and I understand it. No, don't get me wrong. I just feel bad that these players get kicked out of a game because their helmet, they're having helmet-to-helmet contact. And some players do it intentionally, but a lot of them don't. And it's like if somebody ducks into the way of their helmet hitting another helmet, it's like, what were they supposed to do? Like, it's a split second where that stuff can happen. So, but I really don't want to say one player could save Auburn. Auburn, they only attempted 2 field goals and hit them. It's like they weren't able to score the ball. So Georgia went in there and took it. Well, they were at home in Athens and took care of business up against Georgia, 27-6. I can't wait to hear what Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley have to talk about. Now, here goes one of the upsets of the day. And this is where I look at the committee and raise my eyebrows or just question them. The hype around certain schools or individuals do not mean that you have to rank them so high, because it's more or less fine print that you got to read. Texas Christian University, a.k.a. TCU, goes up against those Horns and got hooked. The Horned Frogs hooked the Longhorns 33-31, and it's interesting how the game ended. It was like a safety that they wanted to take to run the clock out, and with them taking the safety, the game was over. So it was interesting. You got to see how the game winded down. But TCU controlled the game with running the ball, and Max Duggan, their quarterback, I am aware of you now. I was not aware of you previously, but this guy's a scrambler. He's making plays on the ground. He led the team in rushing, 17 carries, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. And clearly his last touchdown was him scrambling and decided the game for Texas. Texas is 9th ranked in the nation, probably one of the bigger names in the Big 12, and they lost to an unranked team at home that knows them. And that's why I'm giving them credit, because it's a Big 12 matchup. It's a rivalry matchup. But there's no way for them to be ranked 9th to actually have to fight back all game long up against TCU that's not ranked. That's not ranked. That's why I look at the committee and raise my eyebrows. You guys are showing favoritism. I want to see how far you drop Texas. If they're 9th losing to an unranked at home, I want to see if they fall below, I want to say 15. I want to see where they go from here. If they're 9th, lost to TCU at home in the Big 12, got outshot at home, I want to see what you're up to, committee, or you guys are just pulling favorites. I bet that they probably fall to like 13. I bet they fall to like 13, but we'll see. Another upset within the top 25, I was going to say the Big 12, but they're not in the Big 12. But UCF loses their matchup up against Tulsa at home in Florida, and this is the first time that UCF has lost at home since 2016. They have been on a massive streak taking care of business in the American Athletic Conference. 34-26, the Golden Hurricanes hold them down and win this game late with a last-minute touchdown pass for them to win this game with Zach Smith throwing that pass. So I tip my hat to UCF as long as they've been doing it. But Tulsa winning that house in took care of business. The next matchup I have is 12th ranked North Carolina, winning their matchup up against Boston College 26-22. Cincinnati wins their matchup 28-7 up against South Florida, cruising in that matchup. I don't know what happened to the South Florida program. They were good last year, or at least under the radar for people to take notice, and everybody's, that's competitive has been taking care of business. They're 1-2 on the season right now. Another upset, we have Arkansas that beats Mississippi State 21-14, in which Arkansas has been on a 17-game losing streak up against ranked teams. 17 games, and they won this game in Mississippi State. That's where the 16 and the Texas Longhorns may fall. So I want to see where they fall. The next matchup I have is a close game, very close game. Oklahoma State and Kansas matchup, 47-7. I know I'm being very funny. Even though Les Miles is there, nothing has changed in Kansas. I want to see if he gets another 2 years. I say 2 years, just to instill to see if this program turns around. It is real bad with Kansas football-wise, but they're more or less a basketball program. We all know that, but something has to give. Les Miles has championship caliber. Like, something has to turn around. He has to be able to entice people to come there. Oklahoma State beat the blood out of these kids, won by 40. And this was in Kansas. They played like they were at home. It was a shutout all the way into the fourth quarter. That was like garbage time when they scored that touchdown late. Another interesting upset, people. The 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners lose on the road to Iowa State 37-30 in Ames. This is bad. Iowa State, I can't even believe that I heard this stat. This is a Big 12 playoff. Oklahoma is 1-2, by the way, and I'll dig into that. Iowa State has not beaten Oklahoma at home in Ames, Iowa, since 1960. Since 1960. So there is a lot of stuff that I'm looking at like, whoa, like I want to know what's going on right here with Lincoln Riley and things of that nature. But I mean, for it to be a one possession game, it's competitive. Iowa State always has that element of surprise to win that game, but Oklahoma, as much stock that they put into Rattler at the quarterback position, and this is a game that they were in that they could have won, but Iowa State scored late and sealed the deal to win this game 37-30. I tip my hat, especially for them to knock off a 60-year streak. 60 years. That's tremendous to get that rock off of your chest. So salute to Iowa State for finally knocking off Oklahoma. Oklahoma is in the Big 12. They're 1-2. They have to fall out the top 25. They're 18th ranked to lose to an unranked Iowa State, even though they're tough at home. But they have been losing to Oklahoma at home since 1960. They're home. Like Oklahoma is home up there. That there's no way that they could feel uncomfortable. The next matchup we have is LSU winning their matchup up against Vanderbilt in a cruising situation blowout, 41-7, in which this game was over early, 21-7 at halftime, and that was all Vanderbilt was able to do. I think LSU had to redeem themselves losing their first game out the gate. So we'll see how this progresses, especially when they end up meeting Alabama, because that's the game that we all wait for within the SEC. The next matchup we have is Missouri going into Tennessee, losing that matchup to Tennessee 35-12. Let's see if football is back in Knoxville. They are 2-0 on the season in the SEC play. Can they compete with the elite? That is the question. I want to see how that goes down. Another upset, people, in the top 25. North Carolina State wins a game late. Last-minute heroics, 30-29 in Pittsburgh up against the Panthers. Larry threw that touchdown late in the game in the fourth quarter. Crazy situation. NC State is now out there saying that they have their quarterback. We'll see. The ACC is tough. I want to see if they can compete and keep this consecutive. Last but not least, in the top 25, another upset. Like I said, this was interesting all across the board. The Memphis Tigers go into Southern Methodist University and lose this matchup 30-27, in which I've never ever seen or heard this in my life. SMU's crowd got kicked out of the game at halftime because they weren't following the protocol of the pandemic. So, and I know we're living in crazy and different times, people, but I don't know what they could have done that crazy to be kicked out of the game. I've never heard fans getting kicked out, at least probably the student section. But still yet, SMU did what they could. It was 27-27 going into the fourth quarter, and were able to get a field goal up to win that game late. I am fully aware and wide awake on the receiver in this game. Reggie Roberson, 5 catches, 243 yards, 2 went to the house. The 2 that went to the house, you got to see the highlights. This dude is a barn burner, and this is what you got to watch college football for, because it's like you never know what one of these guys could turn into. Like your Terrell Owens or your Tyreek Hills. You never know. You never know what type of speed demon going to come out of nowhere. And you're like, yo, what school did he go to? Like, why didn't we hear about him? These are the reasons why. You got to see what's going on college football-wise. Okay, so we got Norm in the building. Norm, welcome to the brunch. How are you feeling this morning?
Doing good, Ty. Thanks for having me, man.
Okay, anything that you would like to discuss or heard or seen college football before we get moving from this situation?
Well, let me see. Did USC play Notre Dame?
I think they did play. Did you not watch it?
I got no input on college, my man. I was scrolling through ESPN, and I saw Auburn was playing whoever they were playing, two top-ranked teams. I looked at the score for a minute, but like I said, I was turned off with football for the reasons of Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. I'm sick and tired of hearing all this hype about these great players, and I don't get behind the talent until I see it develop in the NFL.
Wait, Baker Mayfield's actually playing better now. Baker's playing better, so I got to give him some leeway there. But Sam Darnold, that's a whole nother capacity. Like, just to be honest, his junior year, they were hype about him. Well, you're right there, so you know. And they were trying to get him to come out early. And I was like, he looked his receiver down, and when they were talking about him earlier in that season, it was one game where he threw like 2 or 3 picks, and he was doing it consecutively, like watching the receiver go through his route, and the safety was just reading him, and he threw picks that he could not see. And it's like once he got to the league, they were so hyped about him. I'm like, listen, he did not change. He's the same guy. And ever since last year with that game against New England, it's like every time he plays Belichick's going to come up with interesting ways to stop him. I mean, yeah, they'll come up with, that element of surprise game. They might knock off the Patriots 1 time or 2 times, but I think as long as Belichick's there and they can have intricate defenses, they're going to send blitzes at him all the time. I'm not a big Sam Darnold fan, but he did have good play this Thursday. Your thoughts on the Thursday night matchup in which, right, the Jets did end up losing that game. They lost the game 37-28 up against the Broncos. They both were winless. But this did, come to a late game score in which third string Brett Rippon, Mark Rippon's nephew, basically was taking care of business, but then after halftime, he threw 3 picks in a hurry, and it was like, oh, we have a game here. Now we have a game, and it was a kid that they were picking on all day long, Pierre Desir. The world knows your name for bad reasons because he was getting burnt and picked on touchdown after touchdown. They threw a jump ball on him, and Judy basically caught one off of his face mask and went to the house, man. I mean, your thoughts on at least that Thursday night matchup, and if you want to talk about Darnold, because he had an interesting 50-yard scramble as one of their touchdowns early in the game.
Yeah, the reason why Darnold was taken so high in the draft is he's got all the stats as far as size. He's got good size, and I'll be honest, I've never really watched him play except for Thursday night's game. Throws a pretty good ball. He kind of short arms it, almost like a Phil Rivers throw, but that's what gets it out quick. His accuracy, I don't know, it was hard to really critique that because you don't know how much the wide receivers are off or whatnot. But Sam Darnold checked all the boxes, and, every coach thinks they can take a guy with athleticism and create, a great player. The problem is, with all the coaches in the NFL, there's actually not that many good ones up and down the order. So Sam Darnold, unfortunately, is going to have a bad career because he's stuck there at the Jets. They'll dump him. He'll be a backup, and good luck ever turning into anything for Sam. So, but that game, I'll be honest, I was back and forth from watching it. Didn't really care with those 2 teams because they're not going to make the playoffs. I didn't even see Darnold scramble yet, so I don't know what all the rave and rant's about. But yeah, that Greg Williams defense, they like to put pressure on people, They like to create turnovers, and I'm really surprised they didn't come out and win that game. And then I thought it was, Adam Gase. I'm sorry. That guy's the biggest piece of, just calling timeouts when the game's already over and just extending that. What an idiot, dude. That guy just needs to be gone. That's my last comment on that game.
Okay, the reason why you heard people talking about his 50-yard touchdown, right?
Yep, I heard him talk about it.
He broke about 2 or 3 tackles. Denver looked horrible when this happened. He broke about 2 or 3 tackles. As soon as he gets to the next guy, he's at the third level up in front of a safety. He jukes the crap out of the safety. There's no way. People have to talk about this. It had to be like plays of the week. It has to. Like somebody has to put this play up. You got to see the juke move that he puts on the safety. Even though Denver won, I know that this safety is going to be clearly on everybody's video. He's film work every doggone week when they go in there. The team probably will not let him down. And how slow. Well, it is moving at NFL pace, so it's probably faster than what we've seen. But as slow as he did the juke, and he juked him real bad to make him fall, and then next he's camping for the next 30 to get to the house, and he's untouched after that. And it's like, whoa. And this is how the game started off for the Jets. So, and that was in the first quarter. They had the lead when that happened. So it was 7-3, and then next the Jets turned into the Jets. The Adam Gase situation, and it's funny that we go that route. I don't know when they pulled the trigger on Adam Gase, and this is what's bad about like everything, like politics, sports, life, things of that nature. If they get a cosign by somebody that has a huge name, they get leadway until like it's virtually impossible for them not to do something. And Gase is living off of a Peyton Manning cosign, and I don't want to say he's ruined things, but he hasn't been impressive in a lot of the other locations that he's been, whether he's been in Florida or, other places. But right now he's in New York, or let me say it correctly, in New Jersey, and everybody's calling for his head. I think more or less they are going to have to wait to the end of the season. I don't. Well, they can pull the trigger early. They can pull the trigger at the halfway mark at week 8, which I think they respectively probably do. But if the Jets continue to lose, I feel bad for him, and he's going to end up getting another job somewhere. I don't think it'll be a head coaching position, but this is very tough for Adam Gase. Now, looking at the situation for the Jets, all of this losing can bring Trevor Lawrence there, but if they have a guy like Sam Darnold that they invested so much stock in, they really get rid of him? Or are they really going to make him a backup like you said? And I'm like, I think he's a backup quarterback too, but it's like they took him so high, you're going to have to get as much as you can out the investment. But if Trevor Lawrence is there for him, or Justin Fields, however it goes down, they're going to end up going with that quarterback, I think. But what is it, it's 2020. I want to say from 2020 to like 2013, the Jets were picking up quarterbacks left and right out of the draft. They could not find somebody to, be the signal caller and get the ball downfield as best as possible. So here they go again, potentially have to go after another quarterback unless Darnold could right the ship. And a lot of people have been trying to save him, especially people out here that are part of Gang Green. But it's unfortunate that this is what they're going through. Anything else before we get into the scores for week 4, actually, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the whole Jets with Darnold, you think back to the Jets when they had Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan brought his defensive mind in there, and they were just a ball control offense, and Sanchez did fine in that. He was never going to be a great quarterback. Everyone knew it, but they went really far. I don't think the Jets have the pieces kind of like that team did to put it all together, although I do think Greg Williams will always get his defense fired up, but you can only be so fired up when you play 90 minutes on the field for the entire game because your offense can't move the ball. Gase is just not the leader to deliver them. So, they brought in Bell, and they were hoping Bell could create some ground game, but, Gase is just not the guy. He reminds me of Todd Haley, and when are these GMs going to realize goons like that, that had a great offensive mind? Yeah, a head coach needs to be the head coach, the guy that stands up and demands respect from his players and shows them with action. Gase is just a pansy ass, always has been. Todd Haley was a little fag too. Those kind of guys, dude, just come on. I could hire better than that. And so for Darnold to be successful, they need a guy with some experience that's been there, that's done that commands the attention and gets everyone together. Look what Gruden's done with the Raiders. And again, the Raiders are by no means a top-tier team, but they're respectable. I expect them to make the playoffs this year, and it's all because of Gruden. And it didn't happen overnight. but they stuck with Gruden. They stuck with his plan. The players are stuck with it, and you could see something growing there with a subpar quarterback in Carr. And so that's really Darnold's only chance. I just don't think he's going to have enough time with his first contract here.
Okay, so fair enough. I feel bad though, because I wish I could speak to these people and be like, no, that's not the way to go. But we're speaking from home, or speaking analytically from the way that we're breaking stuff down or putting this blog out so people can hear us. But it's not really getting to a lot of the people upstairs. But at least this was one that I knew that it was going to go the wrong way, and it did. And I don't know. I don't know. I want to see what do they do. Which way do they go? And it's bad that not only they're going to have to get a new coach, they're going to have to get a new quarterback. They need receivers. They got rid of one of their best receivers with Anderson leaving, too. This is a very uphill battle for the Jets. I think this could be a 2-year process for you to start seeing winning ways for the Jets, at least in the AFC East, too, while the Bills are out there and the Patriots are there. But we'll get into the Patriots because this is huge news going on I think this is in Missouri right now, but out of Foxborough. We'll get into it. So the first matchup we have are the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, in which the Bengals are winless. History can be made today, people, in this game. That's right. Within this game, a lot of people may not be excited about the situation. Joe Burrow can end up passing for 300 yards in 3 consecutive games. No rookie has ever done that in NFL history. So he had his last 2 games, he had 300 yards passing. He could potentially do it this week at home up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cincinnati's favored by 1. This is basically a pick 'em to me. Who do you like in this matchup and why, Norman, and who's the player of this game?
I'll take Minshew. I'll take Jacksonville, and I'll take that point just because I think it's definitely a pick 'em game. I mean, this can go either way. Joe Burrow has been impressive, though. I mean, it has to do with just being mistake-free. I haven't really watched him other than that Chargers game, and he did really good there. Give me Minshew and Jacksonville.
I want to go with you right there. I do. I think Burrow gets it done. They're at home. This is against the Jacksonville Jaguars. As much as I am a Minshew fan, I do like Minshew. I think they'll keep it competitive, but I think Burrow wins this late, and we see NFL history. I think he gets to 300 yards passing today and become that first NFL player to have 300 yards passing in his rookie season, or having 3 consecutive games of that. I feel bad for Burrow because you're speaking about how good he's been playing. He's been getting lit up badly. Like, he's getting lit up in a lot of these games. I can't wait till, I want to say, year 2 or year 4, where that offensive line is able to give him time and him to chop away at these defenses, because he's been making these throws. But you got to see a lot of his passes, he's taking those hits on the chin, and it's like, man, how long do you want him to take this hit without being frustrated? But he's a rookie, so he has to take his lumps as of now. And I'm not saying that is warranted or granted, but we'll see. I'm going Bengals, so we're split right now, cat versus cat. He has the Jaguars, the Bengals, to get their first win on the season. They should have won last week. They should have beat the Eagles. Oh my God, that game was a tie. Well, we can talk about that some other time. We'll get into that. A very interesting matchup right here, people. I'm like, as more and more we got closer to the day of Sunday, I've clearly gotten closer to the other side of the fence. The Browns are in Jerry's world up against the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are favored by 3.5. That 3.5 looks so funny to me, because I would really if I'm looking at this without thinking analytically, I'm already thinking the Cowboys are going to take care of business. I've been slowly falling over to the Browns, and just more and more been getting more intrigued to pick the Browns. I'm not going to be foolish because I'm on air. I'm going to go with the Cowboys to win this game. But I will not be surprised if the Browns pull off an upset today in Jerry's world. If they pull off the upset, the Cowboys are potentially supposed to be 0-4. They won that one game off of that, I don't even want to call it a botched onside kick, but they could have lost if anybody would have just went and played the ball. It would have been different. But I don't want to hold that against the Cowboys, because they did what they needed to do to come back and deal with all of the aura and the moxie, if you will. But I'm going with the Cowboys. But believe me, I'm saying it here and now, Sports City, I will not be surprised if the Browns stole this game from them, because their running has been stepping up, and Odell's actually been getting the ball, even though he only has a touchdown received. But this could open things up against a very, very questionable Cowboys defense. So, Norm, your thoughts on the game? Who do you like and why?
Yeah, when I was looking at the point spreads for this week, man, there's not many games I'd like to put money on. There's actually only one, and I'll let you know when we touch that base. But yeah, the same thing here. It's almost like if there's a home team and the point spread's 3 or less, I just like the home team for no good reason other than they're home. If it's more than 3.5, I'm kind of taking the points this week. But really tough week to make picks. And so this is Cowboys plus 3 or minus 3.5.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take the Cowboys at home. But yeah, this again, toss-up game to me.
Right, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. This is a toss-up. It's more and more we get close to Sunday. It's like, man, the Browns could pull that element of surprise and shock the world because, everybody just watches Cowboys as a Cowboy fan, or to watch them lose and everybody's feeling great about this Sunday just to see what's going to happen, upstairs with Jerry and what he can say, Okay, so the next matchup I'm concerned about. I am concerned, people. I am worried about what's going on, and here's why. The next matchup we have are the New Orleans Saints going into Detroit up against the Lions, in which, right, this game was supposed to be canceled. And this is why I'm frustrated. Like with the state of the world today and what we got to go through, the fullback that was drafted by the Detroit Lions, who happens to be on the Saints now, and Michael Burton, had tested positive with the COVID-19 situation, and they were going to potentially cancel this game because of who he was around or exposed. They ran another test this morning, I'm guessing before like 9 o'clock, and they said it came back negative. I feel funny about that because they had a positive reading, and next thing you know, they have a negative one. He's out there, or they're still going to have him out there. So it's scary because he can affect the other team, being my team, that I love, being the Lions. So, and it's interesting. Both teams are 1-2. Both teams are 0-1, being the Saints being 0-1 on the road, and the Lions have lost their one game at home as well. And everybody knows how that game went, where still in my head we won the game, like being up 17, losing the lead, and then Swift being in the end zone by himself, nobody around him, nobody to bother him, wave their hand or break the pass up. He just drops the pass. And it's like, I don't know what else is supposed to happen, and they couldn't get the ball in the end zone, and the game was over. But still, neither here nor there. They're both 1-2. The Saints are still without Michael Thomas, and I know Drew Brees is as dangerous as possible. That's what concerns me, because him and Kamara are a tandem themselves, and they're without 5 other players outside of Michael Thomas not playing today. So it's 6 in total players that are out for the Saints. In which, Sports City, I am going to give my little rant. I don't even know if I really want to call this a rant. I'm going to say what I have to say. Matt Stafford, for you to save yourself from any more dismay of how you look up against winning teams, even though this Saints situation there, they're not a winning team, at least try to beat an elite. And every time you guys match up, you and Drew go at it. It's always a shootout. Every time the Lions play the Saints, it's a high-scoring affair. He said that statement, I think, yesterday as well. I'm going to stay home. I'm staying home. I'm going with my boys. I'm going with the Lions to pull off the upset for the evening or this afternoon. I feel bad going against the Saints because I respect them. I'm a big fan of Alvin Kamara. And that offense just clicks at all given times. I know it's going to be hard to try to slow them down. Something. And I went against them last week. And knowing the Cardinals were hot, undefeated, I did not think the Lions would pull it off. So I apologize, boys. That was me on air talking junk. I can't leave. I feel like Sonny in the Bronx Tale. If nobody ever seen the movie The Bronx Tale, please watch it so I don't have a bad reference. But I can't leave. And I think it's going to be a shootout. The Saints are favored by 3. Norm, your thoughts on the matchup, who do you like and why?
Yeah, it was interesting. I forget which sports commentator mentioned it, but they had talked about Drew Brees and the Saints record without Michael Thomas in there. I think they said he was 0-5. For the. I think Thomas is on the team since. Do you remember what it was? What was the record since Thomas has been out?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know that was a stat that they were keeping. I didn't know that it was that bad.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And, I'm one of those guys where, if you have one or two injuries, I even though it changes the game, it really doesn't change, in my opinion, the outcome. When you look at how the point spread moves off an injury, if you got Tom Brady all of a sudden gets COVID and's out, the line might go from 3.5 to 2.5. And you would think, well, Tom Brady's worth more than a point, isn't he? But it just doesn't work that way. And so usually with injuries, I don't, pay much attention on a lot of details because it's still going to be pretty close. But I just thought it was interesting how Drew Brees and the Saints, for as good as a team as they are, is not winning without that one go-to guy. And so in this case, I do like Detroit, because I believe they're at home, to pull off the upset as well. And kind of go back to the surprise when the Saints lost to the Raiders, who I think the Raiders defensively aren't that very good of a team. So, and then obviously the Saints lost last week to what looks like a pretty good Packer team right now. But so I am going to go with Detroit. But again, if Breeze comes out and throws 5 touchdowns, that's not surprising either. So, yeah, it's a really tough week for picks, but I will go Detroit here as well.
Thought I would be all alone on this limb. This dude said, I'm jumping with you. look at my buddy Ollie Cali, man. I'm telling you, that Norm's to my rescue. I already put the blindfold on and everything. I'm about to he said, hold on. Don't go. I'm jumping with you. Okay, so let me get that off of my chest. I can breathe a little bit. And everybody's like, this may be the Adrian Peterson revenge tour because he just beat the Cardinals. And this is the Saints, and I seen a picture of when him and Peyton, so when Sean Payton had I think it's a suit because Adrian Peterson wasn't getting the ball, and I just seen the picture, and I'm like, oh, please don't bring that up because I don't want Karma to start messing with me in this game. So, but that's unfortunate. Now, the next game that we have, right, Sports City, I'm so concerned, and you know why I get concerned about something like this. Every December, y'all know me, and it's like always a pause in Sports City because I'm gone. And it's that city in that lowly valley in Nevada. The Seattle Seahawks are going across the country to play the Miami Dolphins. Now, okay, I understand that the Dolphins are home. I understand they're home, right? Seattle's favored by 5.5, which I understand that they're on the road, right? The Dolphins haven't really showed me anything this season to show that I'm, like, blown away. They have one win up against Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Cincinnati where they pulled that one off. The Seahawks are unbeaten. They're putting up stats at an unprecedented rate. Russell Wilson is potentially on pace to throw for another 5 touchdowns in consecutive games. He's already done it in his first 2. This is the 3rd game that could potentially happen, that he could be a part of some history right now. He is lighting the hell out of the scoreboard. Like, lighting the hell out of the scoreboard. Like, I don't know. I don't know what else you don't want, man. They are favored by 5.5 up against the Dolphins. Look, all right, I'm going to say it like this. I think the Seahawks still win, right? They won't cover. They will not cover that 5.5. This is crazy that Vegas is up to something. There's something wrong. That's crazy for the Seahawks to be getting favored by 5.5. I mean, to be giving 5.5. Excuse me, to be giving the Dolphins 5.5. Like it's something real awkward. Unless that's a gimme. Like that could really be an easy layup that Vegas is doing, or it's a trap game. I really feel like that's a trap game. I feel like this will be close, and some erratic play is going to be happening with the Seahawks all day. Norm, do you agree with me? Your thoughts on this game and why?
Completely agree. That's exactly how I looked at it as well. The Seahawks should win. It seems like it's an easy pick. But like I said, if you're going to give a home team, 3 points just for being home, but going 5.5, to me, the Seahawks have won. And, again, they look great, but defensively, they're not the best team. And I think Miami should be able to put up some points. And I just think that if Seahawks did win, it's going to be by a field goal or less. So 5.5 is too many. I agree with you 100%.
Exactly. And I would just like you said, I wouldn't put any money on it. But if you did, like, I wouldn't even be tough on trying to put money on the Dolphins because of how porous they play. Like, I know Fitzpatrick can make this a game. He's always in these tough games. Like, a game where you think he's going to get blown out, he'll come up and play good. But we'll see. I really, this is bad. Vegas, you're terrible. You're terrible, but I love you in my heart. I love you. You're terrible. Okay. The next matchup we have, interesting enough, we have the Los Angeles Chargers going into Tampa up against, and it was interesting to hear it this morning. They called him the old man, and I do have to look at him like that. Brady is the old man. Going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Bucs are favored by 7. The Chargers may be 1-2, but they are playing good ball. That's the bad part about it. I'm going to go Tampa because they are at home, but it's raining. So this is interesting because the Chargers, I don't know how they're going to respond with, weather. But Brady is used to playing in weather, like in, bad weather games, whether it's a snow or rainy game. So I wonder if that could translate into being in Florida while it's raining down there. Your thoughts in this game? Who do you like and why, Norm?
Same scenario. I want to say the point spread's 7. So I give me Chargers plus 7. It's just that week where I'm taking the points, even though I don't like betting like that. But that's and I wouldn't put any money on this game either because, again, the Chargers could lose by 20, and it would not surprise me. That's the Chargers. But the Chargers seem to, for some reason, play up to the game, and that's why you see them lose last week to Carolina. They don't play up for that, but they'll play up against Tom Brady. Tom Brady is not mobile, and I think that's really the only reason why the Chargers have lost a couple of their games is mobile quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, his scrambling ability is what ultimately helped the Chiefs win that game. That's why Burrow was close at knocking him off. He can move. Tom Brady can't move. Mr. Charlie check down. And I think the Chargers defense is up for that, and I see it being a close game. So I take Chargers plus 7, but again, Tampa Bay should win the game, just not by 7.
Interesting, and I want to see if the defense can get after Brady. Just like you said, he doesn't move, and this is an interesting streak, and I think that Brady's up to something too. Mike Evans is on a four straight game streak of scoring touchdowns, and the reason why I say that is he was the same, author of the book when Randy Moss broke the record in 2007, having 23 touchdown receptions. Brady is building that love relationship with Evans. I want to see if that can potentially happen, just to see if he ends up taking Moss' record down or not. That threat is there because he's a big target. He finally got a quarterback, and this is what everybody's been waiting for out of Mike Evans. But that's a tough one because they'd have to win by 8. I agree with you. If I had to take the points or give points, I'd stick with the Chargers. But I'm saying the Bucs win the game. Best 7 might be a tall task while it's raining. The next matchup, is there anybody, it was just me and you, but is there anybody in Sports City that believes the Washington football team can beat the Ravens? And it is in Landover, Maryland, in the FedEx Field. Do you believe that Washington could knock off the Ravens?
No. No. I mean, Baltimore's going to win that game just because Washington, again, can't score points. I will take Washington with the points as a pick, though. I think they were at 13.5 or 14. Again,
I think 14.5. I have it at 14.5.
Yeah, I mean, again, I just think it's too early in the season to be giving away that many points. Double-digit points is a lot. And, I mean, if you're going to base it off of last year, Baltimore put up a lot of points and they had a lot of blowouts. But, Washington's defense, I think I think they'll keep it close early on. But if Washington can't sustain drives and they can't at least, keep the defense off the field and rested for a little bit, Baltimore gets multiple 5-6 possessions in the first half. I mean, yeah, they're gonna eventually break through and score. And once that team's behind Washington, that is, there's just no catching up. I'll take the points still, just because it's a long game and 14 seems too many. But yeah, Baltimore is going to win this game. Another interesting thing, I guess Ron Rivera had mentioned to Haskins that he would pull him if his play didn't get better. I know a lot of coaches like to challenge guys, and I don't know Dwayne Haskins. I don't know how he handles that. I just think, to be honest with you, from what I've seen, I think he's going to be more scared now to make a mistake, and I think you're going to see him not throw the ball into windows that he probably could hit. And I just, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, it'll help his team, but I think it's going to affect him negatively. And I think he's going to get pulled here real quick in the next couple weeks.
So if you're talking that, then this would actually go against what you just said. This is tough, man. You're looking at the spread. I think the Ravens end up winning this game with the points, like giving them 14.5. Here's why. They just came off of a crucial loss up against the Kansas City Chiefs and won the Super Bowl, and everybody saw it live on TV that they could not move the ball or score like they usually are used to and they really made it the one-man show to see if Lamar could get it done. And the way they shut him down, holding him to 97 yards passing, he has to go out there with fire on his back. Like there's no way that he's going to go into this game and, let the Redskins make him look questionable, too. Then all of the questions will start popping up. Well, he's still off of that postseason hangover the past 2 years, and he just got shown up against Mahomes and so on and so forth, which they're the best team in the league right now. So he has to go up in there and go up against a Washington football team that, they're there to play football, but, I don't look at them as a threat, So that 14.5 is in jeopardy. I think the Ravens actually cover that, especially the way that they lost last week. They have to rebound back as best as possible. I feel that way. I do.
You know what was interesting about that loss last week, Kansas City? Baltimore got the ball, and they just had their way down the field in their first drive, right? And I remember as a Chiefs fan thinking, oh, boy, this is, it's going to be a shootout because these guys are going to do whatever they want running the ball. And then when they got the ball in their second possession, that one tripping call, which I think was a bad call. The guy was blocking and got to his lower half, so it was a tripping call, made it 1st and 20, and the game was over at that point. And you would think why, even though Kansas City came down and scored, but that's the problem there. Is it Harbaugh? Is it the play? I'm not trying to put blame on stuff, but Lamar Jackson should have had over 100 yards rushing in the first half, and he didn't. So why did they go away from that? It's just very interesting to me, and so, I don't look at all the X's and O's on films. I don't see all that, but I was really shocked they got away from the running. And even if the Chiefs stopped in first and second, you might as well just freaking run it and have Lamar Jackson scramble for 10 because it was there all game, in my opinion. So we'll see. But I think you could see another downer week from the Ravens. They should still win this game, though.
I agree with you. They went away from the running game. I don't know what that was. It's like they got non-confident in the running game. Why not even say confident? They felt like they had to get back into the game and appease the crowd or appease the people that say that he can't pass or he can't make the big play. Let this guy play football the way he plays football, man. This dude won the MVP playing freely. He hasn't been in the league that long. Why are you trying to break something? You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? Why try to change it? Man, bring you. We can take you out of Baltimore in a hurry. If they're not happy with what you're able to do with tight ends. You're doing this with a speedster in Brown, and Snead and all of these guys. They are. I don't want to just really say mediocre, but they ain't high quality receivers. If he had one big target, if he had a 6'3", 6'4" receiver, it'd be a different ball game. Everybody knows when they played the Ravens, he's going to the tight end. He's going to Mark Andrews, which is a huge target. That's his biggest target. That's his biggest target. They know who to be. And he still makes plays. He's very fast to be a tight end, but come on, that's always been the makeup of the Ravens since Todd Heap days. Speed at the tight end position. All right, let me get away from that game. That's a game that's going to have me hung up because I feel bad that magnifying glass is on Lamar Jackson, and he's clearly one of the best, if not, I'll say one of the best because there's some names at the quarterback position in the league. But he's one. He just won the MVP, so I don't know what else you want. The next matchup we have are the Arizona Cardinals on the road up against the Panthers, in which the Panthers are coming off of their first win of the season, and the Cardinals are coming off of their first loss of the season, in which I had both of those games wrong. I said that the Cardinals would beat the Lions. The Lions came out and won that game late off of a field goal, and the Panthers are still without Christian McCaffrey, pulled off a win in Los Angeles. I just didn't understand how that happened, but I got to give the Panthers their credit. They won that game on the road. Bridgewater, I salute you, but this is an interesting one. I'll let you go first, Norm. Your thoughts on this game? Birds or cats, Cardinals or Panthers? Who do you like and why?
Yeah, that Panthers beating the Chargers last week was one of the few wins I got. I had a horrible week on picks, but I did see that one right, and again, just because that's the Chargers. I bet more against the Chargers than I did for Carolina. But this one right here, this is the one game I'm putting a couple bills on because I like Arizona -3, and I think that they're a better team all around. What Carolina did last week to get the win against the Chargers, I don't see them repeating the same kind of continuity to create a good game. I really think the Cardinals come and blow them out, and so I think they win by 2 scores in this, and this is the one game that I'm putting money on today.
Wow, he thinks this is a blowout. I agree with you. I'm going to go Cardinals. I think the Panthers are going to have to prove to me that they can stop Kyler Murray since you don't like him. Look at you going with Kyler now all of a sudden. and DeAndre Hopkins has been unstoppable. Even though the Lions won that game, he's had 3 straight games of over 10 receptions, and nobody can stop him. I want to see if the Panthers defense, or secondary, can slow down what he's been doing thus far. Like, this dude is phenomenal. I can't believe that a team would get rid of him. And speaking of which, I'm going right into that game because that's next. Somebody has to win. Somebody has to win. The winless Minnesota Vikings are going up against the winless Houston Texans. They both are 0-3. This is taking place in Houston. Here goes a crazy stat that I did not know until last night. The Houston Texans are 0-5 against the Vikings. They have never beat the Minnesota Vikings in their history of existence in the league. So that's one. 2, the Texans are playing horrible outside of, I want to say, more or less Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has some good stats to start the season out, but their defense is not helping them out, and I know they put a lot of stuff into J.J. Watt, which I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big J.J. Watt fan, but he's not able to be J.J. Watt that we know. He hasn't been controlling the defense like everybody thought he could, and I think it's more or less on the helm of the back end of that defense in that secondary, so they're giving up big plays. I don't know which way I want to go in this one, but I am going to go with the home team. Houston's favored by 3.5. I think Deshaun Watson wins this battle between Kirk Cousins. But if Kirk Cousins wins this game, it'll be very interesting for me to hear him say, "You like that, don't you?" Because I'm clearly going against him because I am not a Kirk Cousins fan by any means. Him and Tannehill are in the same box next to me, and it's like once I start talking junk, they start playing. But I really feel like the Texans have to get out of their own way, especially being at home up against the Vikings. That defense has to show up, but they're going to have a tough task dealing with all of that speed that the Vikings have. The Vikings have speed everywhere. The running back position and in that receiving core, and Kyle Rudolph is a tough defend. Like, he's fast to be a tight end. He's big. This is tough. I'm going Texans, though. They got to get off the schneid, though. Norm, your thoughts on this game? This is a very interesting matchup. This is a very interesting 0-3 matchup between the Vikings and the Texans. Who do you like and why?
Yeah, same thing. I think the home team. It's a total toss-up game. If you're going to bet on it, I'd buy that half point back and get it down to 3 because I see it just being a field goal game. But, this is also the kind of game Kirk Cousins wins, and then everyone starts, obviously they're 0-3, so it's not going to happen for them this year, but these are the kind of games Kirk Cousins wins, and everyone starts heralding him as a top-notch quarterback to beat the Texans. But, the Texans aren't even all that great this year either. So it wouldn't surprise me if Kirk Cousins throws for 4 touchdowns and they win. But, again, on a toss-up game like this, give me the home team -3.
Okay, well, is there anybody, me and you, that believes, as we start the 4 o'clock, just to let you know, this is start the 4 o'clock call, that the Giants can go across country and knock off the Los Angeles Rams? Do you believe that they can knock off the Rams, in which the Rams are favored by 13.5 and coming off of a controversial loss where I think they should potentially be 3-0? The game was over on a critical pass interference play that everybody's been screaming about, that they don't think that it was a pass interference, but that's where the refs come in and control the game. But your thoughts on this matchup, do you like it? Who do you like in this matchup and why?
Well, the Rams, obviously. The Giants, they're going to win 1 or 2 games this year. I don't know which ones, but that's all about they're going to get, and it's not going to be this week. So, again, I'm sticking to the fact that I think 13.5 is too many points this early on. You have garbage time games. If I had to bet, I would take the points. But the Rams will easily win this game. Just a question of whether or not they're going to cover.
Okay, so we're making fun. Spread. Going with the spread. I'm going with the Rams with the spread. Here's why, right? I get it that they did bring some more pieces in. Devontae Freeman should be more in touch with the offense, so on and so forth. The Giants' offensive line still has their issues. They have to worry about 2 numbers. it says 9-9, and they're put together. in the numerical sequence, they say 99. If you don't know what 99 is and you watch this game, you will be hearing that name discussed all game long. To me, he has to be the strongest dude in the league. Has to be. And then probably the most talented up front in the trenches. Like, Aaron Donald is a monster. Like, and I remember seeing him all the way through college and couldn't stop him, and just watching him continue to do this in the NFL. Awesome. Like, I don't think he's ever going to leave the Rams, like, until he says he's hanging them up. They're going to end up giving him a piece of Los Angeles. If he's getting it, and this is the bad part, like, Danny Jones or Daniel Jones or Danny Dimes, however you want to call it, he's bad with pressure. He turns the ball over, whether fumbles or he throws the pick, and he sees a lot of pressure. The Rams have to notice. They have to get after him. I think this could get ugly, especially with them in that new stadium, and the Rams play well there. They have not lost. Well, they've only played one game there, but I'm giving the Rams the edge. I think they do cover that 13.5. I think this could get real ugly, being 4 o'clock for the Giants as well. Okay, so the next matchup we have are the Indianapolis Colts up against the Bears, in which the Colts are 2-1. To me, unexpectedly, but they are doing well. I have to give them credit for what they've done this far. And the Bears are 3-0 with their issues within the organization, especially at the quarterback position. They're unbeaten. This has to be the most dysfunctional situation I've ever seen. And the Bears that had this type of streak previously, when they were, I think, 3 or 4-0, going into this week or whatever, they went to the Super Bowl in 2006. And this is a potential situation for the Bears again, with all of the scrutiny behind Mr. Trubisky. If Mr. Trubisky's going to ever start again or play again with the Bears, and Nick Foles up to the same old tricks that he was out there in Philadelphia doing, and helping them be successful in one run and then winning the Super Bowl in another run. So, Norm, your thoughts on this matchup? We have Phillip Rivers versus Foles. Who outshoots who? Because I really – and this is the funny part, right? The Bears are home. The Colts are favored. Who do you like? The Colts are favored by 3.
Yeah, I'll take the home team, and I'll take the points because it is a toss-up game. I can go either way, but I'm just going home team. If you can give me 3 points, I'll take them.
So he's going Bears. I'm going right with him. Phillip Rivers has to show me that he could win on the road on grass now, because he's not on turf. He's been taking care of business with the Colts at home. He won his 2 games at home at that, so that's been on turf. He's lost away. So I'm going to go Bears. I think this is a get-your-popcorn ready type of game, but I think late the Bears are going to get those defensive stops and force Phillip Rivers into some turnovers. So I'll go with the Bears being 4-0, and I don't want to hear this because they're in the division. Like, this is a divisional rival, and they're hot. And they're dysfunctional. I don't even know how that happens to say hot and dysfunctional at the same time. Okay, let me get past that. The next 4 o'clock, the last of the 4 o'clock, too, are the Buffalo Bills, undefeated 3-0, at the top of the AFC East, going up against the Las Vegas Raiders, in which they are 2-1, coming off of a very bad loss up against the Patriots. And where it was interesting early, but then the Patriots just blew them out. And I hate to say this right now, but Carr looked like himself. The Patriots humbled that situation, and Carr looked like himself. So who are you liking this matchup? How does this go down, Norm? How does this go down? Are we seeing the old Carr, or was it because he went up against Belichick, or can Josh Allen keep this smoke going? Out of the first 3 games, he has over 1,000 yards passing already. Already he has 1,000 yards passing. Bills or Raiders, it's in Las Vegas.
What was the spread? Is it Bills are probably favored, yeah?
The Bills are favored 3.5, correct.
Yeah, give me the Raiders and the points. I'll take Raiders and 3.5 just because they're home. It was interesting how Belichick took away Waller in that game, and Gruden was in denial about it. But no, I looked at some of the highlight film plays that some of the experts showed, and they would double team the check down on Waller and took that away. And so obviously that was Carr's comfort zone. He wasn't ready for that, and basically got put out of his game. So the question is, will Carr recover from that? Does everyone exploit that? Does Gruden come up with a better game plan and work with them? And again, I'm still betting on Gruden. I think he's doing a great job with the Vegas Raiders, and I think they're going to be a playoff team, and they're not going to beat the good teams. And Buffalo's kind of saying, hey, we're one of the good teams, but this should be a closer game than I think a lot of people are thinking, because a lot of people like to jump on what's hot. So I'll take the Raiders with the points at home.
I'm going against you, buddy. I'm going to go with the Bills. I think the Bills cover. Interesting enough, is it another AFC East team that they're going against. And not only is this another AFC East team that they're going against, their specialty is defense, though, even though their offense has been showing up. I mean, I take anything away from what the offense has been doing, but their defense has been one of their calling cards, especially as of late, with Tre'Davious White and those guys. So I think they actually make this difficult for them. They know what to do to try to stop Waller to be successful in this game. I think the Bills go to 4-0 and cover the 3.5. But just like you said, they're in that new stadium. That's what makes this tough. So I think the Bills still win, but I think the Raiders make this a game. I still will pick the Bills to cover the spread. I think this is a fourth-quarter game. They score a touchdown late, and I think Carr starts pressing. And I don't want to say he has a turnover, but I don't think he gets to the house and gets it done. But I think the Bills will cover. They probably win this game by 4 points. I think they do take care of it. Last game of the evening. This is waiting all day Sunday night type situation. This is Brian breaking news, Hughes in the kitchen. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to Santa Clara, California, where my buddy Norm is in California. He's not in Santa Clara, though, but he's in California. And I don't know what the Eagles I feel so bad for the Eagles, man. And Carson Wentz, everybody's picking on him, and rightfully so, because of what he was able to get, and they got rid of Foles, and he had the injury history as of him coming out of college, not him being in college, but once he got to the league, he had his injury issues, and there's so many question marks that are swirling around him and Coach Peterson on what's going on with this Philadelphia Eagles team. They're 0-2-1. They just tied last week with the Cincinnati Bengals, in which they needed some hellified plays for them to happen to get into a tie score to go to overtime. The Eagles should have lost that game, but Carson Wentz came up with a big scrambling play to force that score and score that touchdown late. The Niners are favored by 9 in this matchup. I'm going with the Niners. That 9 is questionable. I think the Eagles do cover getting 9. But I think the Niners still win this game. So if I was getting the points, I would go Eagles. I think the Eagles will make this interesting because there's a lot of injuries on that Niners roster. But I still think the Niners do take care of business and win this game. Your thoughts on this game, Norm? Who do you like and why? Norm, are you there?
Yes, sir. I like the Eagles +9. I like it for that reason. Well, there's nothing really to like about the Eagles thus far this year, but they're just one of those teams that can keep it close for no good reason on any given week, right? They have the talent, and this bet's more so against the 49ers. So last week, after all the injuries and all the, hey, let's figure this out, let's rotate this, let's do this here, I want to say that the Frisco played the Giants last week. So what a perfect opponent to get to go up against, when you're going to try to figure out different rotations and how you're going to, gel together with all the injuries they sustained. Well, Philly is a much better team than the Giants are, and not, we can argue that left and right, but I just think that you're dealing with a different level of opponent here, and I think you're going to see the effects of all those defensive injuries kind of show itself. Now the Niners are still a better program. I just think 9 points is too much, and I'll be honest. If Arizona comes through for me, I might put a quick 50 on Philly to win this game outright. So this could be a sneaky pick here, and I will be watching intently on how the Niners can handle, a better team than the Giants based on their new look offense or not new look, but new look quarterback and their new look defense.
Yeah, and Muller clearly took care of business up against the Jets. I feel bad. Or no, the Giants, excuse me. Yeah, the Giants, because they beat the Jets the week before. But, man, I don't know, because Jimmy Garoppolo should be coming back soon. They got so many different injuries, but I agree. I think the Niners win with the Eagles cover. Hopefully the Eagles keep this close or make it look like an interesting game because they're going to start screaming for people's heads. And you already know how the city of Philadelphia does not play with individuals, especially with them in their losing manners because they have not won a game all season long. Okay, so Norm, you are in the kitchen with me in the brunch, and we are both human beings in the world. And this is your team, right? And their game has been postponed. And the crazy part about it is the way of the world and life being taken so seriously. You're supposed to take life serious anyway, but, trying to make sure that they don't put people in harm's way. The Patriots and Chiefs game has been postponed. I'm hearing potentially Monday or Tuesday this game may go down. Cameron Newton has been ruled positive with the COVID-19 coronavirus. I feel bad because I wanted to see this matchup with Cam Newton playing. And with the state of the world today and this happening, he's pulled away from the game because of this sickness, illness. And they're going to have to go with Stidham up against Pat Mahomes, or Patrick. Let me get it correct before she get mad.
Yeah.
So up against Patrick Mahomes. And there's no way I can say Patriots without Cam Newton. It would be debatable, but right now, without him, this Chiefs team is too high-powered. But just the state of the world and how this coronavirus situation is affecting everything. I was watching it last night when they were saying Michael Burry got affected with the coronavirus, and I'm like, one, I'm going to get up early to do the show, but two, after the show, I'm running to go watch the game. I'm not even going to go watch the game if the Lions aren't even playing. So I was like, man, what's going to happen? I woke up this morning and seen that they said they did the test over and he's negative. The game's still on. I'm like, you don't even know how loud I screamed yes. I was like, yes. I still want to see the game be played. And it's I didn't even know how hooked I was, but just knowing how stuff is going down with us in the world today. But your thoughts on the matchup, you can give me a pick. I know who you're picking. But, your thoughts on the state of the world and if you want to, on why the Chiefs win the game as well.
Yeah, really unfortunate, for Cam Newton. Obviously take that serious, and he's an athlete in good health. I'm sure he'll recover from this. But what's interesting to me is how, when one or two guys test positive, how more people aren't getting it, And again, I don't follow the COVID stuff daily, so I don't keep up to dates on how it transfers, this and that. I just kind of, keep to myself and make sure I be a little more cautious. But, once it breaks into the locker room, you would just kind of think that, geez, almost everybody would get it. It would be that infectious. It would just spread entirely. So, and I'll be honest, week one, when there was not one COVID, positive, I just really assumed that because of the amount of money involved in the games being played and what have you, that basically they were hiding any positives or just brushing it aside. I guess it's good to see that, at least, it's never good to see someone come out positive, but it's good to see the NFL is actually not brushing it on the rug just for the sake of money. And then they're doing what they can as far as to extend games over. What's interesting is that, let's just say this game's played Tuesday, what's that do as far as their following week games? You're on a short week again, something we haven't seen before on a short week like that. So it'll be interesting. They try to stick to the schedule, and we can't make excuses if they want the season to keep going. I think we all do. We just got to live with what happens. So, watching the Chiefs go against the Patriots without Newton, I think the Chiefs, easily win this game. And it's not just Cam Newton. I think even with Cam Newton, the Chiefs were going to win. When you look at the fact that Bill Belichick has had to go up against the Chiefs with even with Alex Smith, he's really struggled against what the Chiefs have done in the last 3-4 years. And then they've won, they being the Patriots, have won a lot of those tilts. But Belichick just explains how difficult it is guarding them. And then when you look at, the Patriots' defense when they had all the losses and opt-outs that they had, I don't think that's really been tested to the degree it's going to get tested against the Chiefs. And I see the Chiefs easily scoring their 30 to 35 points again. And without Newton, I just don't see the Patriots keeping up with that. The more interesting thing is the long run. I see both teams as a playoff team. I really wanted to see the Chiefs handle Cam Newton. That way, if there was any struggle, they could make adjustments if there was a future meeting down the road in the playoffs. So, interesting that's not going to happen. And, it's one of those things where if they do meet in the playoffs with a healthy Cam Newton, it kind of brings a what if element or what's going to happen. So I'm glad the game's still going to be played. Bummer got pushed off, but let's see these games keep moving forward, and hopefully the NFL does a good job of corralling this whole COVID-19 stuff.
And this ain't even an injury. It's like I want to push this game back like later into the year or something, or put it on a bye week or something, like do something like that, man. I want to see Cam up against the Chiefs, man, just to make it competitive. Like this is like a gimme with Stidham. Like if Stidham comes in and wins this game, everybody in Vegas is losing. Period. Okay, so we do have Sirius in the building. Sirius, welcome to the brunch. How are you feeling this afternoon?
You know, man, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys, man.
All right, definitely.
So you mean to tell me he came in with one game left to pick, and that one game is Pittsburgh?
He goes to church, so don't leave him alone. Leave him alone. Go to church. I don't want that bad karma in here. Please, Lord, if you hear me, like, please hear me. I don't want your bad motion. Please, I'm not saying nothing bad. No. I'm leaving it alone. Lord, leave it alone. Well, we get some bad mojo, man. All right. So, Sirius, your thoughts on? I mean, we can elaborate. We got a little bit of time. Your thoughts on the Patriots-Chiefs situation? If there was a game that you may have missed that you want to discuss as well, I'll let you. I'll probably give you the quick rundown too. But go ahead.
You know, here's the deal. I kind of view this differently as somebody who contracted the virus. And has overcome it. My whole household contracted the virus, and even my little 1-year-old son had it. So I kind of looked at this a little differently than most. You know, I applaud the NFL for taking swift action to stop the spread and kind of, you know, do the testing and everything. The thing that's kind of that I've learned, and I know we don't, you know, come on Sports City and talk about, you know, coronavirus and political things and things of that nature. However, one of the things that I've learned, having gone through it myself, is that it hits everybody differently, and that there are different strands of the virus. So Cam Newton, you know, to pop positive, and according to all reports that there were a couple others that were in close proximity or in contact with Cam Newton that didn't test positive is good news. Also, there was the Kansas City Chiefs backup quarterback who popped positive. According to reports as we sit here currently, no other Kansas City Chiefs player or personnel has tested positive. So according to what I'm understanding, that game is going to be scheduled and played tomorrow at 7. So we're going to have 2 Monday Night Football games, according to what I'm understanding. It sucks because I'm with Tymeless here. I would have loved to have seen how Josh McDaniels and Cam Newton attack this Kansas City Chiefs team. You know, obviously Patty Mahomes or Patrick Mahomes or P. Dizzle, whatever you want to call them, Mom Bruce can come see me. I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? But Patty Mahomes is going to do what Patty Mahomes does. And this is really going to test, you know, the mettle and the preparedness of the New England Patriots. You know, but having Cam Newton as another MVP candidate, as another run-pass option threat, you know, of the likes that they faced a week ago in the likes of Lamar Jackson, gave us something to look forward to. I didn't want him to push the game forward, you know, get on a bye week. You know, I wanted the season to progress as normal. When you start messing with bye weeks and pushing games ahead, it messes up the whole flow of things. So unfortunately, these are the cards that were dealt. Jarrett Stidham's going to have to go in there and pretty much not lose the game for the New England Patriots. Play within himself. I'm sure Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick are going to formulate a plan and a game script for him to follow. And, you know, with little room for, you know, ad-libbing and deviation from said plan. And he's going to have to go in there and steady the ship, you know, for a week or two until Cam Newton is cleared and is able to come back. But honestly, man, it's going to be crazy to see how this game pans out. Obviously, we're all picking the Kansas City Chiefs. I would have picked the Chiefs, like my man Norm said. I had Cam Newton in this game been played today, and Cam Newton are not Papa positive. But, even more so now, this could be a trap game for Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? This, you look ahead and, we all get the reports, and Kansas City gets the reports. Jarrett Stidham is, not Cameron Newton. The offense and the game plan as before wasn't constructed for Jarrett Stidham. So everybody's rushing around last minute, erasing, things and implementing things that you really don't have time to game plan and scheme for. And, so I think this is one of the sloppiest of games of the weekend, to be honest with you, because, just as the Patriots are, adjusting game plan, Kansas City adjusting game plan defensively as well. And there's really not much game tape and game film on Jarrett Stidham. You know what I'm saying? So, he may have more open throws. He may not get blitzed as much. So the unknown aspect of this game leads me to believe that this may be sloppy. At the end of the day, I think Kansas City wins it and moves on to 4-0, and we start to understand and start to see life without Cam Newton for the time being.
Yeah, this is horrible, man. And you want to know something else that I'm thinking about? Even though you said the backup quarterback for the Chiefs or whatever, I'm really thinking about the centers for the Patriots. And then that could go to the centers and the guards because Cam is next to him every damn play or every time in practice. He got to be with the center. You know what I'm saying? So, that comes into play, and then knowing how this could affect, the big man up front in the trenches. So, this is horrible, man. And he's not even injured. I know injuries are part of the game. That's that. But this is something that even if he was feeling good, if he can't go out there and play, it sucks, man. I remember, and I hate to be like Al Bundy, but I remember it was one game I wanted to play so bad, and there's a city out here called Bridgeport. And if you know about, gangster cities and all of the bad hoopla, you probably heard about Bridgeport because they're known federally how bad these guys shoot them up, bang, bang. But I wanted to play Bridgeport so bad, and then in practice, I rolled my ankle so bad, and I was so mad because I could not play, man, and we lost. I was so pissed. So it's just knowing that's the same situation that Cam was like, man, I'm not even hurt, dog. I want to play, man, and can't go out there and play, man, just because of, the restrictions, and trying to be safe. But we'll see how this game goes down. Cam get well. Everybody get well. Everybody that's fighting this mess, man. All of us together, man. Every last one of us, yo. Everybody fight through this storm, man. And my mother always tell me, and this too shall pass. All the time my mom tell me that. All right. The last game we had Monday night, is there anybody in this damn kitchen that believe the crazy-ass Falcons could beat the Packers in Green Bay? The Packers are favored by 6.5. I do not know how Quinn has this damn job. You lucky I'm not going crazy right now. I'm ready to go crazy. How the hell do you keep losing when you got the damn lead every game? Every game is happening like this.
Here's the thing. I actually think the Falcons win this game. And I'm not being funny about it.
What? Okay, I'm calling you. What? Are you out of your mind? Aaron Rodgers, look, for your namesake, Aaron Rodgers is on fire. You what? Okay.
Well, he is. Let me explain my logic real quick. All right, let me explain my logic real quick. The Atlanta Falcons are literally a minute and 45 seconds away from being 2-1 right now. Okay, if you tally up the amount of times in these first 3 games that the Atlanta Falcons have actually held a lead, it will astound you. Okay, so the Atlanta Falcons, for all things being considered and equal, are not a bad football team per se. Their offense moves up and down the field. Their offense can score points. Their defense is horrible and can't protect that lead. All right? You do not want to go 0-4. This is a desperate team, and desperate things call for desperate players. Okay? So with that being said, I mean, I'm not trying to poo-poo A-Rod. I'm not trying to poo-poo the Green Bay Packers. Keep in mind, they're going to be without 2 wide receivers. Keep that in mind, because Devontae. So The Green Bay Packers are not going into tomorrow's game with a full healthy deck as is. You know what I'm saying? I honestly believe that the Atlanta Falcons find a way to win this ball game. Their offense can move the football. Their offense can move the football. They literally have, I think it's a top 5 ranked offense to date. Calvin Ridley is putting up staggering numbers to date. Matty Ryan is throwing that rock around at an alarming rate to date. So to sit here and say there is no shot that they win this ball game just because you look at their record is a bit misguided. I think Atlanta wins this ball game tomorrow, gentlemen.
All right, Norm, I'll let you deal with this, and I'll close this one up and start closing us out. Who do you like in this matchup and why?
What's the point spread on that one?
The point spread is Green Bay favorite by 6.5.
I think it's 6.5, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'll take the points too. I think again, I think the Packers win. The Packers look really good even without their 2 top wide receivers. You know, that I guess that could change things. We will find out. But the Packers do look pretty balanced, look pretty good. But again, I think Atlanta is going to be really close in this game. And it wouldn't surprise me they jumped out to a lead as well. And so if they get to the lead early, and again, they do have a good offense, yeah, I think that 6.5 points is a lot of points to be given them. I think of all the games they've lost this year, I mean, it's been less than 6. So that looks like a pretty enticing bet. But I do think that I would, if on a pick'em game, I'd take the Packers to win, but I'll take Atlanta with the points.
All right. I'm going to do this quick, and I'm going to do this as quick as possible. If I look at this game, right, and I'm going with Green Bay, and their division rival, I don't want to give them credit, but I know I got to give them credit because Aaron Rodgers is a mother sucker, you know, whatever I can say. I was about to curse, but it's due to the problem. If I look at this team and see whose defense is better, the Packers' defense is creating more havoc than the Falcons have created, I want to say, since 1998 probably. Like, the Falcons are not doing anything defensively to make me think, damn, they're going to slow down Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is going crazy running the ball. Aaron Rodgers is a monster passing the ball. And I don't care who's out there for the receiving corps. Seriously, me and you can go out there and run passes and do the Lambeau leap. He's going to get people the ball. Like, it's going to happen. Like, listen. As much as even if Matty Ice get electrocute the doggone scoreboard, I feel like Rodgers coming right back in and answer. And Monday night, this is Monday night in Green Bay. Boy, they gonna get stroked out here. I'm going Packers, and I think they cover. I think this could be a double digit. I feel this is a double digit win, just to say the least. And I hear where you're coming from. They're desperate, but I think, and this is something that me and somebody else were talking about. Quinn has been lost his locker room. Like, not even like he's lost it. Like, this, they're gone. I think they're waiting to see new pastures, new jerseys. They got new jerseys and all of that, man. They got to get rid of him, man. Enough is enough. He's almost in the same box as him and Gason. You could probably put Matt Patricia tail. Gason, and you could probably put Matt Patricia tail in there, too. All 3 of them can, play London Bridges if they want to. I don't know. But, okay, so is there anything else you guys would like to add before we start to close up the brunch and get popping with this Sunday? Okay, the silence helps me. I need plugs and closeouts from each of you. I'll start with you first, Sirius. Your plug, closeout, anything that you like to promote as we shut it down here in the kitchen.
Man, it's your boy Sirius repping that 412 and the 703, man. Pleasure to jump in here with you guys for the last 20 plus. You know, man, definitely, man, be safe out there, man. Enjoy these games. You got 2 of them tomorrow, man. You know, I think we'll have it, so don't take health for granted. You know, be safe with the peoples or whatever. Anyways, it's your boy Sirius, man. Luckily, Lord willing, some good things coming down the pipe for Sports City, so definitely stay tuned. It's going to be a good fall season for us, man, so definitely stay tuned to that. Fellas, I'll see you guys next time, man. Go.
No doubt, and Norm, you'll be back here Tuesday, so we'll be hearing that, how you guys get down. So give us a plug, anything that would promote the Tuesday show, and I'll be out there Tuesday to get in here with you guys as well.
Get out your brooms, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be a sweep in the NBA Finals. No way of stopping it, baby. Lakers are too strong. It's going to be nice to bring home another championship. and an exciting Southern California with the Padres extending their playoff berth, going against the Dodgers. Should be a fun series. But more importantly, here we are Sunday, looking forward to a really good week 4.
You made me grit my teeth when you said that. I'm like mad. I felt like a dog with like a bone, and you just walked up on me. I'm like, grrr. Like, hey, granted, it ain't like I hate LeBron or I hate AD. Like, I love both of these guys, but it's like it's so easy. Like this whole pandemic thing has just messed up everything, like life-wise, sport-wise. But it's good that we got sports back so we could try to have some sanity at the end of the day. But I 100% agree with him. I think this is 3-0 by the end of the night, and Miami is basically in an unfortunate situation, even though I think LeBron knows a lot about, Spoelstra and what he's going to try and create. They just don't have any answers for either LeBron or Anthony Davis. So that's all I have in a nutshell. We'll be back here Tuesday. Brian and Norm, as you hear him here, he'll be back on the air, probably doing a lot of the roundup from these games and probably be in the midst of his game as well when the Patriots and the Chiefs play, man. Cam get well, like I said, everybody out there, stay safe like Sirius said. On that note, tell a friend that it's the chefs again. And if they don't know, now they know.